Hello, my name is Julian McCarroll, and this is the Power Query assignment. So for the first step, I'm going to copy these sports statistics from Jason Tatum. So I'm going to copy this website, and then I'm going to come to Excel, and I'm going to go to Data, From Web, paste the website, and then I'm going to use this current year statistics. So within Power Query, the first transformation that I can do is I can sort this score column in descending order. So I can have his wins by the highest scoring games all the way to the lowest scoring win, and then highest scoring loss to lowest scoring loss. And then after that, I can come and rename some of these columns. So I'm going to rename this to points, this to rebounds, this to assists, over here I can change this to turnovers, this one to steals, and this one to blocks. After that, I'm going to get rid of some of these other columns that are not useful. So these metrics are not going to be useful, so I'm going to remove these columns. And then after that, I'm going to create a conditional column that's going to display his performance. So I'm going to go conditional, name it performance. And then it's going to be if his points column is greater than his average, which is 28 points per game, then that would mean that he had a high scoring game. And then if it was below 28, then it's going to be a low scoring game. And then I'm going to want to access this data, so I'm going to have it near this high scoring near his score. And then after I complete that, I'm going to close and load the data. So the other example that I have of Power Query is going to be through homework grades. So I'm going to get the file, homework scores. I'm going to use Excel homework. So for the first step, I noticed that some of these values are null for the test grades. So I'm going to select these three. I'm going to do replace values, null. I'm going to replace that with the score of 0. And then after that, I'm going to add a column that displays the total score that they received. It's going to be a custom column. I'm going to name it total score. It's going to be the sum of test 1 plus test 2 plus test 3. And And then after I have this total score column, I can calculate their final grade percentage by doing another custom column. It's going to be final grade. And it's going to be the total score that they received over 300, which is 100 points per test. And then I can go into this final grade and change it to a percentage. And then lastly, I only want to view the students that received a score higher than 70%. So I'm going to go to this drop down, number filters. And I want the values that are greater than 0.7. And then lastly, I'm going to close and load the data. And then this is the player statistics. And this is the test data. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go through and manually change this to percentages. And then the next example is going to be with the CSV file, and it's going to be with IMDb movies. And then for this data, the first step I want to do is I want to filter this genre category to only be movies that are movies that have action or comedy. So I'm going to go to text filters, contains, action, or if it's a comedy. I'm going to need the value contains. And then after that, I'm going to create a conditional column to determine the movie's length. So for movies that are 1 hour long, I want it to say that it's a short movie. Movies that are 2 hours long, they're going to be medium length. And finally, movies that are 3 hours are going to be long. And I'm going to place length. To the year column. And then next, I'm going to filter the year category. So I only want films after the year 2000. So I'm going to do 2000. And then lastly, I'm going to filter this IMDb ranking to only show me the highest ranked movies first. So I have the 2000 plus movies that are ranked highest to lowest. And then I'm going to close and load this data. Lastly, I'm going to do another Excel file, and it's going to consist of sales data. So for the sales data, I'm going to look through, and I notice that these last few transactions are null. And I'm not going to need them, so I'm going to remove these rows. So I'm going to go to remove bottom rows. I'm going to remove the bottom 2 rows. So now I only have transactions that I have data for. So next, I'm going to add an order size column. I'm going to go to conditional column, label this order size, and then it's going to be if the units column is greater than 50, then it is a large order. Otherwise, it's going to be a small order. I'm going to place that right before the units. And then next, I'm going to filter the region by only the east and the west. So I'm going to leave these 2 checked, and I'm going to uncheck central. And then lastly, I only want to view the year. I don't need the dates and the months, or the days and the months. So I'm going to come down here, and then I'm going to do right click, transform year, and then it's going to change it to just the years. So I'm going to close and move my data. So now I have a sheet that has Jason Tatum scores. I have the homework scores. I have my movie rankings. And then I have the sales transactions. That's going to be it. Thank you.